Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Unique Professions. My name is David Honey and I have a very, very special guest with me. Who does not love to cook? Who doesn't? I mean, really. I like to cook. I'm not saying I'm the best at it, but we have someone very, very special with us. And it is an absolute pleasure to be hanging with Helen.
Oh, thank you so much, David. It's a pleasure to be hanging with David.
Hey, look at that. Right. Now, Helen, tell me, first question,
Yes.
what is it that you do?
I do quite a lot of things actually, David, but at the moment my full-time job is a content specialist with Thermomix. However, I have been a Thermomix consultant for 16 years.
Now, for people who don't know what Thermomix is, can you tell me exactly what it is? Because I must admit, up until a couple of years ago, between a mutual friend of ours, I had no idea what a Thermomix was, but now I have been enlightened.
And it's amazing. Once you know or have heard of the name, then you just start hearing it about it everywhere, don't you?
You do.
So the Thermomix, well, it's funny because 16 years ago when I started in 2007, nobody knew what the name Thermomix was. And I would go and introduce it to people and pretty much, there might have been maybe 1 out of 100 that would have heard of the word Thermomix. But today, it's kind of like a household name for most people. It is a kitchen appliance. It's a German kitchen appliance that takes the place of over 20 appliances in your kitchen.
Okay. Well, one thing I wanted to know was, why, as you are a Thermomix specialist, why Thermomix? What drew that to you?
It was actually by accident, to be quite honest, because my background was a teacher. I'm a secondary high school teacher. I used to be. And I had stopped to go on maternity leave, had my 3 kids, and then my sister invited me along to what was called a demonstration in those days because she wanted us to all pitch in for a kitchen tea present for her wedding. I'd never heard of the word Thermomix, went along to very begrudgingly, I might add, to this demonstration, thinking that, oh my God, they're just going to try and sell you some shit. Sorry, am I allowed to swear on
Yeah,
here?
of course, Jan.
Yep, they're going to just try and sell you some stuff. And but I was blown away by the demonstration. They made this, 6 dishes in like less than 2 hours, all with the one appliance. Everything tasted amazing. It's hands-free cooking because it's, it chops, it stirs, it cooks, it steams, it
Does everything.
does everything. And I couldn't afford at that time, being on one income in our family, to get the Thermomix. So the lady that was the consultant there told me, why don't you just join and become a consultant and you can earn yours for free. So that kind of perked my ears up and I thought, I'm not doing anything else. I'm on maternity leave. So I did that.
Okay.
And I wasn't meant to stay around. I was meant to just make my 6 sales and then go back to being on maternity leave and end up going back to teaching. That was the plan. But I loved it so much. I learnt so much about food and cooking and I was inspired. Every night I was inspired to cook something different. It just reinvigorated me in the kitchen. And I was quite good at the demonstrations. People really loved seeing me demonstrate the Thermomix, and I just enjoyed it so much. So I hung around for 16 more years.
Why not?
Yeah.
So when you did decide to hang around, as
Yes.
you said, what was the point where you went, hang on, I'm in love with this. This is what I was born to do almost, or this is what I want to do for my career. Where does that moment happen?
Yeah, that's a good question because it wasn't the intention to begin with. And I have to say, I have to give credit to the people around me that saw something in me that I didn't see. Because if it wasn't for them to push me into, furthering that career path, I probably wouldn't have. And that is the managing director of Thermomix, Grace Mazur. She saw something in me, but my direct upline at that time, Maria Manfredini, who was my team leader, then branch manager, they just saw something in me. They believed in me. They kept pushing me to take that next step. And so I did. And every time I did and I progressed in my career path, it just got better and better, easier and easier. And I really saw that I was actually kind of really born for that role. So yeah, I developed from just a consultant, not just a consultant, sorry, but from consultant stage, went through, became a team leader, then became a branch manager, then got employed by a company as a business development manager. And it was only a year and a half ago now that I stopped to take a break for about a year from that role, the leadership role, and took the year to try something different, went back after that, but I didn't want to go back into the leadership position because I feel like I'd done quite a bit of that, but I could not. I created a Facebook page called Hanging with Helen, and that was for mainly Thermomix cooking and sharing, what I learnt about Thermomix and food. And it seemed to take off and people seemed to really love it, and I didn't want to leave those people behind. So I maintained my consultancy, or went back to consultancy. And so now I have gone into a different role, content specialist, but still am doing Thermomix consulting because I still love to share the love of Thermomix.
So said you were a team leader. What does that actually entail?
So that entails you growing a team of consultants and looking after them and training them, inspiring them to, build their own business. Because as a Thermomix consultant, you are initially, you are creating your own business. I found I was quite good at inspiring other people to also do what I was doing. So it was a natural step to then become a team leader. And I grew my team to, at one point, I think it was like 28 consultants, because you can't really go past that 25 mark as it gets a bit difficult in a team leader role. Yeah. So, I did that. That's what a team leader does. Train, inspire, and look after, support a group of consultants who are growing their own business.
You say inspire. How did you inspire?
It's
a big word.
It is a big word.
Yeah.
And I only not recently, a few years now, but found the difference between motivating and inspiring. And I found out that motivation comes from within, but inspiration can come from the outside. So when I say inspire, I share what works for me. And what I'm learning, I call myself an accidental influencer because I don't mean to influence people. I'm glad that most of the time it's influencing people in a positive way.
Yep.
But I just I'm a big sharer. I'm kind of a big open book. So I will share everything I do. And that inspires people to see the success that I've achieved and think that they can also do the same.
Yeah. Now, with the Thermomix, you said, you can cook anything.
Pretty much, yeah.
Have you ever experienced a complete disaster?
Oh gosh, yeah, lots of times, especially if you are playing. I like to take recipes and then I'll tweak them. I'm not a complete, throw-in cook or an intuitive cook, as some people might say. I tend to like to have a base to start with, and then I'll incorporate my own tweaks to it. But when you do that, you run the risk of, making things go wrong. So there have been times where I've had major flops with cakes, with baking, with dishes that just weren't edible. Not many, because the Thermomix is really quite forgiving. And when you've got, a base to work from, then it's pretty good. You can't go wrong. For the most part.
For the most part.
When you start to veer from the recipe and you don't have experience in that area, then you may get things wrong.
What makes a good Thermomix consultant? What kind of skills do you think that you need to have?
Well, the very first thing you need to have is a passion for the Thermomix.
Yep.
And just believe in the product. I think that is the number one key. And I found most people become consultants because they can't stop talking about the Thermomix, so why not get paid for it?
Yep.
So they make great consultants, people who just can't stop talking about what they do in their Thermomix. So you have to have a love for the Thermomix. And I think you just have to have a passion for sharing what it can do. That's pretty much it.
What about cooking? You got to have
No, you don't even need to know how to cook.
Well, okay.
Because we train you. Thermomix have really great training. So you get trained on how to use the Thermomix, the functions and features of it. We have a series of recipes that we stick to for when we're demonstrating to others. And you'll find very quickly people who are not confident cooks become very confident in the kitchen. So yeah, it
Interesting.
helps to build skills. But it works both ways. You might be super confident in the kitchen and the Thermomix is great because it's like a second pair of hands. It's just a tool, right? But then, you might be the opposite end there of the spectrum and hate cooking and the Thermomix comes along and becomes your best friend.
You said that you are an accidental influencer.
Yes.
Yeah. My question is, with that accidental influencing,
Yeah.
how did you go about, influencing people? How did that actually start? I mean, I know you said you were good with everyone kind of liked you, but how did that actually grow into something more organically?
I showed up. So if you show up consistently in an area and you are truly passionate about what you're doing and what you're sharing, and I didn't care too much about being perfect, I just cared about being me. And I still do that to this day. The people that follow me on my Hanging with Helen page really see the real me. There's no, sometimes there's no makeup on. Sometimes the hair is all a la natural. But every time I have something that excites me, I feel like, why not share that with everyone else? Because if it excited me, then maybe it'll excite somebody else. And then by doing that, that's the accidental part. People do get inspired by the things that I share.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. When you do, and I'll reframe this question, but when did you decide, being a thermo, when you were, hang on, we'll cut this bit out.
okay.
Yeah, let's start again. Okay, back to the podcast. All right, when you decided to, become a Thermomix consultant, you said you had your kids.
Yes.
And you're like, it became a bit of an accident. You weren't supposed to stick around.
Oh, yes. Right.
Right. Was there anyone who, you said you got a couple of people who believed in you. Was there any time that you had self-doubt?
Lots of times. There were times that I was going to quit and just go back to, being a stay-at-home mum and just looking after the kids because things get tough. But I think that's life, right? Life has ups and downs. And there's that saying that if you don't have the ups and downs, you kind of don't realise you're alive. So I had moments where I was thinking to give it up because things just got too difficult, either at home with juggling and the balance, because you get really busy, And
life happens.
Yeah, life happens. And I wasn't very organised in that when I first started out in the business and it started to really pump, and I had lots of people wanting to see the Thermomix, and so there were loads of demonstrations happening. I wasn't great at saying no or putting out boundaries, so I would just say yes to anybody, and I would have demonstrations happening during the week, during the weekend. I never got to see my family, so rather than re-look at it and go, okay, maybe I can do this better and be a bit more clever with my time, I'm a little bit dramatic like this, and I was like, I think I just want to give it all up. At the height of my career, I just want to give it up. It's too hard.
Give it up and walk out the door.
Right, but no, luckily I had all the support around me that, talked me through those moments, and I stuck to it and got through them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, what about, I know there are very different types of Thermomixes. They're good, and they're probably not so flash.
Do you mean the Thermomix itself?
Yeah, the Thermomix itself.
There's only really one type.
Is there?
Yeah, there's only one model. So there's a few different models, but the models, once one model is finished, that doesn't get sold anymore. But it doesn't make it obsolete. Like I still have my TM31, which was the very first one I started with 16 years ago. And there's lots of TM31 owners out there who swear by it, will never look at upgrading.
Yep.
But the current model is the TM6. So I happen to have that one too.
Yep.
In actual fact, over my time as a consultant, I earned over 7 machines. So I've got them all. But there's at the moment it's the TM6 and there's not really anything else.
Okay, well with each one, if it's evolved, have you seen like a progression where this one, the first one, now to the current one, you can do more and more things?
Oh, God,
What have been the improvements?
Right. So the very first jump between the TM31 and the TM5 was that it became a touch, kind of like a digital,
Yep.
whereas the TM31 is like buttons that you press. How can I compare it? It's almost like a telephone,
dial,
the old style telephone compared
with
to
the
now
ring.
the iPhone.
Yep.
And that's pretty much the progression. So it amazes me, the technology that the German company puts into the Thermomix to improve it. It is phenomenal. And so we've now got a Thermomix that has got Bluetooth in it. It's got videos that play on the screen of the Thermomix to show you steps within a recipe that might require a little bit of skill. You have got an app and it's wirelessly connected now, whereas there was no such thing as that.
No.
You would manually cook with the very first model. Everything was you look at a recipe or you intuitively cook and you press a time, a temperature and a speed, and it was all manual. Whereas now the recipes are available on screen for you to guide you through step by step. A little bit like when you get into your car and you type in an address and the car then and the maps, they take you to where you want to go.
Yep.
And occasionally there's times where you want to override what it's telling you and you want to go a different way because you know a shortcut. You can do that with a Thermomix.
Very interesting. Now, you've got a, as we already mentioned, and I kind of subtly hinted at the very first point, Hanging with Helen.
Yes.
Can you tell me what that is?
So Hanging with Helen was born because I had such a passion for the Thermomix and I decided to just start a YouTube channel. Actually, I started before. I think I started my Facebook page at the same time, but I wanted to create a YouTube channel, which I did, and I just wanted to share the cooking to a wider audience rather than just doing it kind of like, let your fingers do the walking type thing, and you rather than trying to get to everybody's house and demonstrate, at least they had a platform that they could go to and share to others as well. So I could share to a lot more people than what I was able to get to physically.
Because I've actually seen quite a number of your videos.
Oh, have you?
Yes. First of all, I think some of the early ones were a little bit like travel logs, really.
Yes. Well, do you know what? When I first started, I didn't know that I wanted it to be specifically Thermomix. I was kind of just trying to find my feet, see what I wanted to do. So I incorporated anything that inspired me, I would throw it onto the channel. So you'll see some, inspirational stuff like self-development type things on there. You'll see some of my travel vlogs, which I did with my family.
Yes.
And then not lately, for the final few years, it's gotten more towards the sticking to the Thermomix and the cooking.
Excellent. Yes, I have seen a little bit of a progression towards that.
Yes. And it was something that I struggled a lot with. I didn't want to limit it to one thing, but in actual fact, you have to. If you want any kind of channel to succeed, it has to be something specific, not a range of different things. I had to find my niche, and this seems to be my niche. Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm not great at posting on YouTube anymore. I still do a lot more on my Facebook page, but I do want to keep developing that and be a little bit more consistent on my YouTube channel.
And if anyone wants to follow that, it's at Hanging with Helen.
That's the one.
Yes, excellent. I did know that.
Thank you for that little plug.
Cough. Okay. Now, you're not only a Thermomix consultant. You said you are a specialist consultant as well.
Well, I'm a content specialist.
Content specialist.
Yeah, so I've just recently been put into that position, and this position's super fun. I've joined the marketing department of Thermomix, and I help to create cooking classes, and so I develop the cooking classes that are then shared across Australia and New Zealand. I help with their Facebook Lives, any kind of webinars. I work on their YouTube channel, and I'm helping to bring that up to make it more relevant and keep pumping out content on that channel. I do quite a variety of things, but pretty much, yeah.
Do you have a go-to Thermomix recipe or some of your favourites? Give me maybe your top 5.
There is a creamy salami and tomato fettuccine.
That sounds nice.
That's really yummy. There is a curry called, I'm trying to think of the exact titles for them. There is a creamy coconut chicken curry. That's a go-to. There is and that one incorporates making your own, well, not incorporates, but you can make your own tandoori paste. So all of the curry is done from scratch, from the curry paste to the cauliflower rice or rice that you can put with it. There is a broccoli salad. That's one of my go-to salads that I do in the Thermomix. There is a fried rice recipe that I always do on a consistent basis, and there is a pork recipe that I'm trying to think of the name of. It's coconut rice with pork. I just can't remember the title, but it's a beautiful pork mince. You make the sauce to go on top of it. You make the coconut rice in the Thermomix and you steam the eggs in the Varoma, which is on top, while you're actually making the coconut rice.
Do you actually have, I know you said earlier that loving cooking is not exactly, you don't have to be a Thermomix consultant and love cooking.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to.
No.
But I can see it in your eyes that you do love cooking.
I do, yeah. Look, I don't love cooking as much as I love baking.
Oh, okay.
So baking, I love. Cooking, I do because we need to.
Yep.
But what helps is being inspired by new dishes, because what happens is people get into a rut. They tend to be time poor, or they hate cooking, or they're not very good at it. So they stick to the same recipes on rotation and it becomes a chore. Whereas the best way to flip that, to make dinner time a little bit more exciting, is to be inspired and try new dishes. But when you don't have a tool like a Thermomix to help you do that, you don't tend to venture out there and try new things, because what happens is you might spend a lot of time on a specific dish and it doesn't turn out the way you want it to, and the family won't eat it.
Yep.
And then you're stuck with, all that time that you feel you wasted in the kitchen preparing this new dish, and you go back to the same old stuff that you used to do before. So time poor people, people who, have a dislike or not very confident in the kitchen, then, they get a lot out of having a Thermomix.
Well, with a Thermomix, would you think that it's cost effective as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sorry, I'm going on the tangent of Thermomix rather than Thermomix consultant.
Yeah, that's all right.
But one thing I did want to add is, as a Thermomix consultant, because we have a community of Thermomix consultants and we're surrounded by other people who also love the Thermomix, that's why you get inspired to try new things. So every time you attend a meeting or you chat with the rest of your team members, you exchange recipe ideas or things that you've learned or tried, and so you are constantly being inspired to try new things.
Where do you actually get the recipes from?
So they're on a platform called CookieDoo. And those recipes are like just a recipe library. It's a subscription-based platform, but it's only like $69 a year for thousands of recipes around the world that get updated every month. So you don't have to subscribe to that. You can cook your own. You get the cookbook that comes with a Thermomix. You can use the recipe community, which is free, which has loads of recipes on there. But they're all the different places. And you can convert your own recipes. That's the other thing. Once you learn how to use a Thermomix, you just use it as a tool like you would anything else in your kitchen.
Okay, I'm going to put a scenario to you.
Okay.
I bought a Thermomix. I've got it here sitting in my kitchen.
Yep.
Imagine this is my kitchen.
Yep.
Bit hard to do, but anyway.
It's okay, I can do it.
Yep. I've got a Thermomix. I've gone, right, I want to cook, I don't know, fish with something.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
And I've got all these buttons.
Yep.
I go, oh, what's this button? Oh, this is I press one. And I go, I don't know what to do.
Right.
So, would a Thermomix consultant be able to come to my place and say, hey, this is how you do it, boom, boom, boom?
Absolutely. That is part of the whole package. You get a Thermomix consultant that, is your support. So when you first get your Thermomix, you should have, you may have seen it at a demonstration, firstly. But let's say you haven't seen it at a demo and you just decided to get it without having seen it before. The consultant will come out and do a delivery briefing with you, which is your first cook. So your very first cook with the Thermomix should be with the assistance of a consultant, and they will guide you through all of it.
All right, with that, okay, now that brings up a really interesting question that I've only just thought of. You said if I was to buy one, a Thermomix consultant would come out
Hmm.
and say, hey, this is how you do it. How do you, how you, does a Thermomix consultant get a client? Like, how does that process work?
So it really starts with who you know. So
Yep.
you do have to start with the family and friends that you have around you. And then you very quickly branch out from there. So you ask a couple of friends and family to hold a demonstration.
Yep.
There's a few different ways you can run your business. So this is the old style way, which is still going very strong. But you'd start with a few demonstrations, and from that demonstration, you'd ask your friend to invite some of their friends that maybe you don't know very well. And then you build your network that way. So then those people might decide that they'd like to show their friends, and from one demo, you might get 2 other demo bookings from that. So it will very quickly start to branch out outside of your family and friends. However, these days, we also have some consultants who run a virtual business. So they basically have a page like I do. They will pretty much go on there daily, weekly, and put different videos, or maybe just posts with photos of or food and the steps that they took to get to that dish. And they inspire others to buy Thermomixes via their virtual content.
Mm.
So in that case, that's a very different sort of business. And then there's others that do kind of like hybrid. They do some virtual, they do some face-to-face. Yeah.
Now, in your career,
Yes.
is there something that in the Thermomix community, I'm going to call it the Thermomix community,
Yeah.
is there something that you haven't quite achieved or that you'd like to?
In terms of a business?
Yeah,
or
in business,
in
business-wise.
business. Do you know, when I started 16 years ago, there was no virtual platform. So I did things, old school. It was face-to-face. Now that there is a virtual platform, I find that my business is still tending towards the face-to-face market. I'd love to be able to learn how to become, more of a virtual consultant. I know how to do it. I just haven't actually gone there and done it.
Yeah.
So I just need to put a lot more time in my content that I put onto my page, because it is all about consistency and showing up and being present on your platforms. So I guess, getting that same success I experienced when I was 100% full-time Thermomix consultant in the early days, and achieving that sort of success online. That would be a great thing.
That would be great.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, and I'd also love to achieve some consistency on my YouTube channel.
Well, let's talk about the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
How did that, was that the same sort of process as Facebook? You just kind of went, oh, well, I need to,
Yeah, I just thought I would attempt to, get my business happening online. But because I was never just a Thermomix consultant, because I was a team leader, and then I became a branch manager, which meant I wasn't actually able to sell machines when I was a branch manager. So I left, I had to give away a lot of my customers and all of my network to some of the others. And so I was out of the actual consultancy part of it while I was branch manager and business development manager. And so when I came back to that about 2-3 years ago as a consultant again, it was kind of like starting from scratch again.
Yep.
You have to build it up.
did you have to rebuild your networks as well?
Yeah, you do. Like a lot of people still followed me because I had the Hanging with Helen page.
Yep.
They were still following me on there. But yeah, so the YouTube channel was, I'm an actor as well. So
Yep.
I like to have an outlet of some sort where I'm in my, creative space.
Yep.
And so the YouTube channel helped to tick those boxes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, you said you were a team manager
Yes.
just then.
Yep.
What was that? What did that
The
involve?
team leader.
Team leader.
Yeah, so that we covered before. So that
Yep.
was the
Yes.
was the growing a team.
Growing, yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
as a branch manager.
Yeah, branch manager.
So
That's
branch
right.
manager, it's just that level up where you then look after a whole branch. So I had a branch of about 150 consultants at one time. It averaged at about 120 consultants with about 7 to 10 team leaders. So basically I would then look after the team leaders, who then looked after their consultants.
That's a fair chunk of work.
Yeah, it was. It was busy, but
Yeah.
it was very rewarding. It was, I absolutely loved that role. And again, I loved inspiring people to take charge of their own business, the success that I saw people achieve in their businesses. was just a wonderful feeling. So, yeah, I did that for quite a long time. I think it was almost 8 years in that kind of role. Yeah.
How does someone book you as a consultant?
So they can jump on my Facebook page, my Hanging with Helen Facebook page. I'm also on Google, I think. I
Yeah,
think
you
I've
are, yeah.
created
Yeah.
a page on Google.
Yep.
So, yeah, they can reach out there, private message me on there, and I'd be more than happy to help anybody out, whether they're looking to get a Thermomix or whether they're looking to start a business as a Thermomix consultant. Any of those things, I can definitely help them out there.
All right, we're going to play a little game here.
Okay.
Imagine, we've never met, and I've messaged you saying, hey, loved your work on Hanging with Helen and your YouTube channels. I'd like you to be my Thermomix consultant.
Yes.
What would be your answer, and what would be that kind of process?
Absolutely. So first I'd have to identify, do you have a Thermomix or are you in the market for a Thermomix?
Yep.
Is that because some people have a Thermomix but their consultant for whatever reason has not stayed in the business. So we call them our orphan customers, and I'm more than happy to support anybody who needs that support. So if they haven't got a Thermomix, then I would send them a link so that they could purchase a Thermomix. Because what happens, you can buy online and not be connected to a consultant, but then you don't get consultant support. You're basically on your own with the Thermomix.
Mm-hmm.
So it's far better to be connected to a consultant or request to have a consultant. Customer journey that goes along with that, where we help you with the unboxing of the Thermomix, the first cook that I was talking about, which we call a delivery briefing, and then you can have your first demonstration if you like, either virtual or face-to-face. But even if you don't want to have a demonstration, you don't have to. There's so much online these days.
Yep.
And that's, again, another reason why my page was created, to help support all the people out there that have Thermomixes.
Now, with a Thermomix, I'm pretty 99% sure that you can't actually go buy one at your normal
Local store?
local
You
store.
cannot. No.
Why is that?
It's a really good question. It's kind of like there's a lot to learn on the Thermomix. And if you think about when you go to buy a Kenwood Chef, you don't see it demonstrated first. So if you saw it on the shelf for a $2,500 price tag, and then next to it was a different appliance which had 1,000 more attachments to it but was half the price, that's the thing that you're going to lean towards. But if you don't see the Thermomix in action, you just can't understand what it can do. It's a real seeing is believing type thing. So they never wanted to, Forwerk, who's the mother company of the Thermomix, never really wanted to have it out there on shelves because we just don't think that it'd get used like it should. It would get put into a cupboard, maybe forgotten about. And we find a lot of people that are gifted a Thermomix and never have a demonstration or any contact with a consultant. They don't use it. They don't know what it's good for. And some people think it's a glorified blender because that's all they know how to do in it. And it's just so much more. It's kind of criminal to pack a Thermomix away. It has to stay on a bench in the kitchen to be used. So that's pretty much why we don't have it in a store.
Well, I've got a little bit of a counter-argument towards it. I mean, just as a theory.
Yeah.
Let's just say I can buy one at Kmart.
Yep.
Yeah, for $1,000 or whatever it might be. And I actually just want to buy one. And maybe there is a choice of having a Thermomix consultant. They might have a little bit of a blurb saying, if you need a consultant, call this number.
Yep.
But what if I'm like, bugger it, I would like to have a crack at this and do it myself.
You can.
Yeah, but my question is, shouldn't that be allowed, in the you know what I mean?
Totally agree. Well, that's why they have the online shop now. So you can actually buy it from the Thermomix store online. So there is that option. Yeah. Just not in stores all the way around, in your Myers or your David
and all that
Jones.
kind of jazz there.
Yeah.
It was just a question.
And it wasn't available before, but it is now. So, I think they probably have the same thought.
Yeah, because, some people, like if you're going to IKEA, that furniture store is an interesting place.
Yes.
But it's like, okay, I should at least have the option
Absolutely.
of having to try. It's interesting that an organisation saying, hey, we're not sure how you go with using the product. It's almost, to me, kind of, without sounding too insulting, it's kind of like saying, you're not smart enough to use it.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I
Yeah.
think it was just a business choice at that time. And the other thing is, it was a direct selling company.
Yep.
So they're all about creating business opportunities for people.
Yep.
So helping them to have an income. And when you've got a direct selling company, if you put it onto a store, it really takes away that business
Yep.
from the individuals. So that was their business choice at that time. But, now that Thermomix is kind of like a household name and people know all about it, they made the decision to have those online sales available too. But you can still select a consultant and support a family business.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was just like, it's just interesting that, that it's almost like it's exclusive. Yeah, over
Well,
here.
it was a bit of an exclusive club, to be quite
Yeah,
honest. to
exactly,
start with. Yeah, it was. We even were referred to it as being a bit of a cult, I think, because people get so passionate about their Thermomix and they do end up forming their little, groups that talk Thermomix language. But no, today we want it to be a household name. Everyone should have a Thermomix. Just like everyone has a microwave when they first leave home and start out on their own, they should all have a Thermomix. That's my belief.
Now, you said there some Thermomix lingo.
Yes.
Can you give us some examples?
Let me think. I think more just the language of the Thermomix. So when we talk about kneading dough in the Thermomix, that's not really a thermotherm.
Maybe throw some out there. I'll see if I can translate.
I'm not even sure. Thermolingo. MC. Let's use the MC on top. Make sure you've got your MC in.
Oh, not Master of Ceremonies, that's for
No,
sure.
it's not. That's your measuring cup.
Oh, measuring cup. All right,
That's an example of thermolingo.
Yeah, there you go. Measuring cup. All right.
Yeah. That's it. That's pretty much the only one I got at the
MC,
moment.
okay.
Yeah, the MC.
What about the TV?
The TV.
TV.
TB.
Yeah.
What's TB?
Tablespoon.
Yes, we do use that.
Good.
Yeah, we use tablespoons still.
Yep. Excellent. See, I'm not a complete disaster in the kitchen.
No, not at all.
No. So, what does the future hold for you as a Thermomix consultant?
I don't know.
Well, what would you like? I know you said you'd like to grow.
Yeah,
the
I'd like to
Instagram.
grow on my YouTube, on my Facebook. I've always had a vision of, how people have book clubs.
Oh, yes.
To have like thermo clubs around the place where people start forming their little thermo clubs. They set themselves a recipe to cook that week and then they all come together to talk about it.
Or even try to make it themselves in the same kitchen. Going, oh, I've done this. Oh, I didn't think of that.
So, that was an idea I had from years and years ago, but I haven't really implemented it. So,
I reckon you should.
I know. I feel like it would take off the thermo clubs.
Yes.
Because you get to eat, right?
Yeah.
You bring everyone brings a version of their dish maybe and talk through it.
And there can be subtle differences as well. Yeah.
Can add wine to it as well if you want.
Even better.
Even better.
Press this button, have some wine.
Yeah,
Press the
that's
next
it.
button, have some more.
That's
it's like a cheese and wine night.
Yeah.
Now, being a Thermomix consultant, obviously you've had some many highs in your career.
Yes.
What are some of those?
I back in 2007, what consultants do when they start is they go on a 60-day program. And in that 60-day program, you've got a certain number of sales that you want to hit to get the freebies and pay off your Thermomix. So that's 6 sales to pay off your Thermomix if that's what you're joining for. When I joined, I broke the record for the amount of sales done in a 60-day program, which is laughable now because people have broken that 10 times over. But when I started, 14 sales, which is what I made in 60 days, was the record. And I broke it and it was great.
What's the record now, do you know?
52, I think.
All right, so you only need 53 then.
Yeah,
all right, okay.
I'm not going back to a 60-day program, but there are people that have done that in a month now. So, some consultants are very, very successful. 40 in a month, But the average, the average is maybe 3 to 4. Depends on whether you're running it as a full-time career or whether you're doing it as a side hustle or a part-time gig. So you can choose how you want to run your business.
What about some of the negatives?
Negatives,
Or
look,
low
you meet some interesting people. For the most part, everybody's lovely. But then there are times you'll get some challenging customers who really just want to challenge you. So...
Like everything in life.
Yes, but thank goodness it's very rare. Very, very rare. And you learn strategies to cope with that when you come across it. Yeah.
Is there a demographic of people, like I suppose a main demographic of people that you sell to?
Each consultant will attract their niche kind of market and audience. So for me, it's probably my age group. When I first started, it was young mums. I still have young mums quite a bit, but we're trying to make sure that it covers a diverse range of people. It's not just for women, for that matter. It's for anybody that likes to cook, doesn't like to cook, people who like gadgets, people who need an extra pair of hands in the kitchen, people who are time poor, people who are, health conscious. So there's a wide variety of people that it actually ticks the box for. Yeah.
How would you, or would you encourage, someone who's listening to this today, or when this comes out, that sounds so cool. How would you encourage them if they're really interested, especially if they actually have a Thermomix and didn't realise that this was a thing?
Oh, to become a consultant?
To become a consultant, yeah.
Oh, look, absolutely. Reach out to me. If you've already got a consultant of your own, reach out to them. They'll be able to guide you. If you can't reach out to me for whatever reason or don't want to, remember it's Hanging with Helen, just if you want.
Hanging with Helen.
Shameless
really
plug, but,
this.
Reach out to me by private message and I will guide you. But you can also just jump on the website. The website does have a join the team a little icon. And you just fill in a form and somebody will be in touch.
Yeah. And what do you think are your strengths as a consultant? And weaknesses? I'll go both.
Strengths are that I know the Thermomix inside out. I use it every day, and I've been around for a long time. And I have a passion about the Thermomix. I don't really believe that I can sell things that I don't believe in.
Yeah.
And so I 100% believe in the Thermomix and how it can change your life. Same as the business.
Yep.
I 100% believe that if you're looking for something different out there in terms of a business, this is a business you absolutely want to explore because there are so many perks to being a consultant apart from being inspired to actually cook and try new things in the kitchen and not getting bored in the kitchen. You meet amazing people. I've met lifelong friends through this journey. Thermomix has taken me around the world because you get access to earning incentives. Every month you get an opportunity to earn incentives. So we get freebies. You earn Thermomix for free, vacuums, anything that's on their mix shop, any new products that are coming out. As a consultant, you get to earn them first. So lots of perks. Definitely worth exploring, guys. And I've forgotten what the question was.
Also,
what are
some of the weaknesses?
Oh, the weaknesses is that I talk too much. I don't know if you've gathered that, but I can get a little bit passionate and go on tangents and just maybe talk just a little bit too much.
Well, I'm glad you are talking because that's the whole point of this.
It's the whole point of this podcast, right?
It is. So I'm glad that you are here. Now, with Thermomix, what are some of the prices generally? What's the average price?
The price of this Thermomix is around the $2,500 mark. That only just recently went up. They kind of don't really have price rises very often, but this price rise came about. Hasn't been a year since this one came in, I think. Yeah, it's about $2,500.
And you have to buy it outright? Or can you
No, there's payment plans.
Yes.
Yep, there are payment plans. There's 24 months interest free. Occasionally they'll put on 36 months interest free. And there is the earn option, like I did, where you can become a consultant and you just pay a deposit and then you get to earn your Thermomix.
What were some of your favourite incentives that you had?
All the travel incentives.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I got to be taken to Dubai. I got to stay at the Atlantis, the Palm in Dubai. We went to Hawaii. I went to South Africa and got to stay at the Lost City there. That was amazing. So all of the travel incentives, and back in the you get an opportunity to also take your partner along if you
Yep.
get to that level, certain levels. And earning Thermomixes, earning the freebies like my birthday every month, basically getting presents every month. It's just
Excellent.
awesome. Yeah.
Now, when you did travel, did you
Mhm.
actually have to take on Thermomix consultancy there? Or was it just a free holiday?
It's you've got there's a little bit of learning like a seminar day.
Mm-hmm.
It's mostly fun.
Yep.
And even the seminar day is awesome because there's a lot of, I always say that it's a company of personal and professional growth.
Yep.
They value you and they invest a lot of time and money in your personal and professional development.
Mm.
So I say personal and professional because a lot of the things that we learnt in our seminar days were things that you can implement into your own personal life, not just your business. So yeah, there's days where we've got seminars, but then there's all the fun activity days. We have gala balls, we have, cocktail nights, lots of fun. Mainly fun.
Lots of fun.
Yes.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Mainly all fun, like
Excellent.
99%.
Oh, but it's the 1%.
Yeah, look, there's not even, I mean, the whole thing is fun, but I guess it's when you say, is there work involved in the
Yeah.
conference? Yeah, there is one element of work, and that's the seminar day.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's about all we have time for today.
Well, thank you so much, David,
Mm.
for inviting me here.
Absolutely.
Hope everyone gets something out of this.
Do you have any last words?
Get yourself a Thermomix and go to Hanging with Helen. Please subscribe.
Okay.
That's all.
Hashtag plug.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming along.
My pleasure. Thanks, David.
Okay, ta.
See ya.